Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Martin Luther King Jr. You know that old Martin Luther King Jr.? He said a bunch of good stuff. And he had a dream right before they shot him, you know that? And the government's been implemented into killing. Government always kills all the real good guys. My local county council met on Tuesday, June 30th, and they had a discussion and an update by their county administrator on the coronavirus in Kershaw County. His name is Vic Carpenter, and here's what he's had to say about the coronavirus in Kershaw County.
Mr. Chair, members of council, just an update on current status of the situation with COVID disease. You see the graphs in front of you on the screen. It shows a steady increase, of course. The total number of cases have grown. The last month, as the chairman said, the amount of cases is equal to the previous almost 3 months prior to it. Today we had 26 cases in Kershaw County. The state of South Carolina had 1,741 new cases reported, 17 deaths as well. Our local situation is, of course, it's fairly, I hate to use the word routine, but we are used to the environment that we're living in at the moment. As the chairman alluded to, the city of Camden just a little bit ago passed a city ordinance requiring the use of masks inside, so you'll start seeing more issues like that, I believe, in our cities and our states around South Carolina and the country as the numbers go up. Of interest to me is our hospitalization rate is still fairly steady to what it was 3 months ago. We are statewide about 71.5% of the beds are currently in use. We're about the same as we were. Younger people are getting it now. The positive rate for infection today was 19%. So 19% of the cases that were tested are positive. If you recall, back in March, we were dealing with an infection rate of about 1 to 2% coming in positive. So interesting things are happening with it, but I guess of most importance and significance is the mortality rate in Kershaw County is flat. We've not had an announced, and God willing, we will not have an announced one for about a month. And our hospital bed utilization is very stable.
People who've been tested positive, our death rate has not gone up in over a month, is that right?
Not in Kershaw at all, correct?
Yes, okay, thank you.
How particularly alarming is this trend in your view, given there's so much more testing? Like on the drive over here, I saw some people lined up outside at a COVID-19 testing tent. So I'm not necessarily surprised that the infection rate for a communicable respiratory disease would increase if you test a lot more. I was encouraged to hear you say that the mortality rate, or at least over the last month, has increased. I think with the additional testing, another month or two will really tell us whether or not there's a lag there or not. What are your thoughts on that?
Of course, I'm not, doctor, but I would say that from the beginning, as you recall, what we were told was the issue in trying to flatten the curve, remember that term, was so that we didn't overload the hospitals. And we were trying not to keep people from getting sick, we're trying to keep from the hospitals being overloaded, so we didn't lose people who couldn't get the level of care they needed. So that seems to be what's happening right now, is the hospitals are not being overloaded. I mean, they're not in a great place, but they're in a better spot than the fear was. I went back and checked, and in March, they were predicting that by May we would be at about 8,000 cases. And I remember that went around, and when that date actually came, we were only about 80% of that. We were about 6,400. So the initial spread of it was slower than the projections were. Of course, now as you see, the 14-day average has gone up significantly more over those averages, but with the hospitalization rate being held steady, I would say, just as a layman, that that's a good sign. I take some hope in that our hospitalization rate is able to deal with people who are sick enough that they require to be put in a negative pressure room, and they might need intubation and ventilator.
You hear him? He says it is routine, and the hospital is not overrun, and at 71.5% of the beds statewide. You know, that's more beds than they had this time last year without the corona and all. So they're not, they ain't filled up, and they ain't doing nothing. And then the infection rate they was talking about, it was 1 to 2% before. Well, guess what? They didn't even know how to test for it then. They was just calling it corona if you was sick with the flu. And now that they got the testing, and the testing ain't very good anyway, it's over 50% false positive or false negative and all this. And now he's saying it's 19% of those people getting tested. Well, if you drive down the road, you see free corona tests everywhere. And people getting tested all over the place. But guess what? The hospital, the death rate's crashed over 90%. And yet, Vic Carpenter wants to tell you all he's fudging the numbers and all, and making it sound like, oh my God, we all gonna die. Then Ben Contdale comes back and he says, you know, if you test positive, everybody's getting treated at home, kind of like the flu.
And that was going to be my follow-up. It seems like a lot of people are just treating at home. I had some extended family members and friends locally who tested positive, and they expressed, I understand it impacts different people differently, but they're able to treat at home for 5 or 6 days and then go back to work after being given the all clear. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And then this fella here, we call him the Big Walrus, Tom Gardner. He's the one that's really sick, got cancers and everything, you know. And he probably should wear a mask. He probably shouldn't have been at the meeting in the first damn place. Should have teleconferenced, because if he was scared of the flu. But anyway, listen to what he says.
Other comments? Mr. Gardner, sir. I think obviously if you test more, you're going to have more positive results. But the numbers to me, if you go back and look at when things started opening back up a month ago, the numbers started going up. So I think it's obvious that there's more cases based on that simple fact. I think if you look at the numbers, you go back to Memorial Day or so, right in that time frame, and here we are 30 days later, and cases have doubled. So to me, you know, it just says that, more tests is going to be more positives, but because we open things back up, you have more cases. So I think the mask, I know people have different opinions of it, but I believe that the mask will keep it
You can't have it both ways, Tom Gardner. More testing, more cases. But when you opened up, the cases went up. So cases had doubled. So we need to lock back down, and everybody needs to wear a mask. You know, he says he talks both sides of the mouth. I mean, when the testing goes up, testing rate goes up, you're gonna get more because this thing's spreading around and all. But look at the death rates, Tom. The death rates are down 90%. We're almost at herd immunity right now. And he said, I believe masks are the best way to keep the virus from going anywhere. This guy is a true idiot. He don't know nothing about nothing. He ain't done nothing but sit around his house and watch Fox News and PMS, NBC, and the Communist News Network, and any other talking head he can get his hands on with that clicker. And then we had Julie Burns. Ooh, he's the chairman of the county council.
We relied on the discipline and the common sense public appeal of our citizens to exercise good hygiene, social distancing, masking, and so on were appropriate. And so we as a county have not directed anything. Here's a good example. We've been focusing on all the terrible things, but here is a business owner that says over 1,000 boats and another 1,000 cars come to our area to watch fireworks on the 4th of July. Fireworks is my favorite thing to do, but I am not willing as a business owner to put a single life at risk to make another dollar. There's a time to make money and time to be safe. There's a time for gatherings and there are times we should not. So as much as I want to give the community a great fireworks show, I simply will not. It goes on. I called the young lady up and thanked her for that spirit of common sense to protect our people when we have social gatherings.
Oh, that poor little old lady. Fireworks is my favorite thing to do. But if it just saves one little life, y'all, we're going to cancel our celebration of freedom. You don't get no damn freedom because we might save one life. Well, common sense, they ain't that funny. They talk about common sense. Well, if there's 1,000 boats out on the water, I've been out there on that water with 1,000 boats watching the fireworks, and I damn near got run over out there, damn near got killed out there by crazy boaters and everything. No, but she's gonna cancel it because of the corona. She ought to, if it's gonna save just one life, she ought to cancel it because the crazy people in the boat's gonna run over you and they might kill each other. You can't have it both ways, but she wants it both ways. And Julie Burns says, oh, you guys be good and compliant little sheep and do as we say. So what Julie did was call this sincerely ignorant lady and thanked her for using some common sense. What the hell? He don't make no damn sense. There's study after study, this damn mask don't work. Everybody knows that by now. So then be confident when they asked about this new Camden City ordinance that you had to wear a mask everywhere. He was asked about that. Now listen to this.
We will follow the city of Camden's because they have made this an ordinance, we will make the law here.
So what Vic is really saying is, I will comply with any ordinance passed. I don't care whether it's right or wrong or good or bad or constitutional or unconstitutional. If y'all pass anything, I'll do it. Here's Jimmy Jones, and he comes in and he says, I'll obey any law. I will wear a mask, but I'm not submitting. Listen to this. This is submission number one. I mean, not submitting. Just listen to him.
As I had said before in this chamber, I will not wear a mask unless it becomes a law. If it becomes a law, I will certainly obey the law, which it has, and I will abide by that in the city of Camden. And any business that asks me to wear one, I wear one, but otherwise I'm not. Yeah.
Now we got the county attorney, his name Ken DuBose, and he was asked to dissect the South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is a piece of crap that come out the Aspen Institute. Anyway, they asked his opinion on cities passing mask laws, which, surprise, surprise, says, of course, y'all can, even though y'all are county. He's just specifically saying city, but you counties can go ahead and do it too, I imagine. Anyway, listen to this babbling bullshit of legalese.
Substantive sentence is in the second paragraph. And it says, quote, the only question before my office is whether a city can lawfully pass this type of ordinance. And the substantive portions of the statement he issues deals with cities. Nowhere in his statement does he indicate, imply implicitly or explicitly that counties can or cannot enact face mask ordinances.
So it's an open question.
Ain't that something how the government can give itself permission to do all kinds of stuff? You know, and then they ask somebody their opinion if they can do it. And then they, oh, great day, we don't know for sure, but I think we can if we really want to. And then we got Samuel Tucker. Now this is probably the chief idiot in charge of the whole damn thing. Y'all listen to hear what he has to say about the mask.
All right, Mr. Tucker.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to say I had to use the restroom at one of the local franchise restaurants, and on the door it stated, "No mask, no service." And I watched them turn around, two couples that was in there not willing or didn't have their mask, and not service them and ask them to go back and get a mask. I'm of the belief of Councilman Gardner here, that's sitting to my left, that this thing is real, and if you don't think it's real, just be kind enough and responsible enough not to disrespect other people's wishes by social distancing and staying away from others and not congregating. Because I think as this thing and the numbers keep going the wrong direction, the less I'm talking to people. I'm giving virtual hugs, kisses, and goodbyes with hand signals, because I don't want to get infected nor infect others, especially the older population that I deal with.
So Samuel, he said, don't disrespect other people's wishes. Well, I don't wish to wear no mask. I don't wish to social distance. I don't wish to do any of this crap that you wish I would do, Samuel Tucker. Which way do you got it? You want me to obey your wishes, or you want you to obey my wishes? How about you obey your wishes, I obey my wishes, and we all get along together? And if you don't want to hang out with me, you ain't got to, and I ain't got to hang out with you if I don't want to. That's all it is, voluntary. But when you get to forcing people to do things that you wish, then you are an evildoer, Samuel Tucker. And then he talks about how the numbers are going in the wrong direction. What in the hell is he talking? Was he not listening to everybody and Vic Carpenter at the beginning? Death rates are crashing. Hospitals are not overwhelmed. Bodies are not piling up in the streets. This guy is a special kind of idiot. And we got old Jimmy Jones again. Oh, great day, he's not going to submit, but yeah, he's going to submit some. He loves Tom Gardner so much he's going to put on a mask. He loves any business that wants him to wear one because the government says if you don't make them wear it, they're going to shut you down. Well, Jimmy Jones will wear one then too, but he's not submitting, y'all.
John, go right ahead.
First off, Mr. Tucker, I appreciate what you just said. I think it's a matter of opinion on which side you're on. I respect yours. I just don't agree with it. Now, let me just say this. I don't think you folks wearing a mask is a sign of submission. I don't think that. I think you're truly wearing it because you believe it will help you or help somebody else. I just don't have that belief. I just don't see that. And I was talking to but I told you how to obey the law. There's no submission in this whatsoever. I'm going to obey the law. The mask is the law. And I'm going to put one on for Mr. Gardner, even though I don't agree with anything he does much on county council, but I'm going to do this for him because his health is not good. He is subject to a lot of things that are going on. But I'm going to do this out of respect for you, Mr. Gardner. Okay. You're welcome. But I just wanted to know there is no submission on my part.
Here's Ben Connell. Masks don't make a difference in infection rates. But I'll comply. I'm going to wear this mask even though I can't breathe in the damn thing.
You have to look at the studies that are required by the FDA to go on for 5+ years or longer sometimes. Even then, they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And here, the coronavirus has just hit us. I mean, the most recent data I've looked at on masks, if we're going to work off the data, is mandatory mask counties, which I guess they disagree with Alan Wilson in California, Mr. DuBose, where some are mandatory mask wearers and some are not. The infection rates are the same with very similar populations. So, you know, that doesn't mean the mask is a variable in any meaningful way. However, there's something to be said for it. I think there's data on each side, and I think kindness was the word that was used, or politeness, out of consideration for others. If it helps, perhaps it does. I don't know that government should be mandating and be a nanny in some way, trying to impact what people's individual decisions are. But that's really all I do.
And then he says, I don't know if government should be mandating this kind of stuff. He ain't got no morals and principles. Don't you even know the proper role and function of government, Mr. Cornell? I mean, you almost got it right, but you're not going to stand on your principles because, what'd you say? I don't know. Let me show you this here fella. There's this one fella that says it so good, and how all these councilmen really should have, this is what they really should have said. Listen to this guy. His name is Ron Paul.
Us who are suspicious of what's going on here, those who promote this have an agenda. And I happen to believe it has a lot to do with people giving up their individual judgment and individual rights. But if the local government officials still endorse the principles of authoritarianism and control of people, it doesn't do any good. So it has to be a moral principle that we own our own lives and we should run it. We should take our own risk and take care of ourselves rather than depending on government. Because if there are problems and the bad people get in government, it affects every single one of us. Yes, when people have their freedoms, they can make mistakes and they really hurt themselves and their close ones. But just think, if you complain about the people who don't know how to run their own lives and you put them in government to run everybody's life, you should think things that doesn't make any sense. And right now, too many people have capitulated, and hopefully as soon as possible they'll wake up and look at some of these perfectly explainable charts that Daniel puts out to show the fear shouldn't be there. It's dissipating, it's going away, and it's nothing brand new. And without going to the point of denying that there isn't some danger, it's how you handle risk and danger that is the issue, not whether it exists or not. And right now we can be very thankful that the danger of this epidemic, this infection, never got as bad as they thought. We should be thankful for that, and we should be thankful that it's essentially over. But we can't be thankful for allowing the authoritarians, the bureaucrats, and the politicians and the drug companies getting away with this and using this as an excuse to further undermine our liberties.
Say about it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Mr. Chairman.
How do you breathe out of these things? You got your glasses fogging up.
It helps if you brush your teeth.
I do.
Yeah, I think your nose hairs are constricting the airflow.
I was talking to a principal here at Prescott County Schools, and the individual told me, said, Mr. Tucker, I really don't like wearing pants, but we gotta wear them so we don't be outside naked. And when you get home, you get to do what you want to do. The mask is not much different. It's out of respect and kindness to others. And you can do what you want to do when you get home. I mean, you can breathe with no mask, get on the ventilator and practice, whatever you want to do. No one's trying to invade into your privacy. We just want to have a little bit of consideration in public for others. And, I can't tell you all the data points because there's, I think Ben said it best. There's data on both sides. It's depending on who you're talking to or what channel you're watching. But I like my chances with the mask and the social distancing because I feel that that's a better survival rate for me.
Mr. Secretary, I just want you to know that the next council meeting is going to be a law. That's why. So what's one meeting for me? And then if it makes Mr. Gardner feel better, so be it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But I don't agree with what you just said.
Other comments? Excellent briefing by Mr. Carpenter and to all the team that have kept us on the straight and narrow these last 100 and some odd days. Thank you, sir.
So you see, these people don't even stand on principle. And They are the most dangerous kind of people around. You know why? Because they're sincerely ignorant. That what that means is they actually believe they're doing the right thing. They're sincerely doing this thing, but they're ignorant to the facts. The mask don't work, and you ain't got no right to tell us that we can do this in a free country. Now, you might get away with it over there in communist China, or North Korea, or Russia. I don't even think you could get away with it in Russia. But if you go along with this, you're sincerely ignorant and conscientious stupidity. You're stupid and ignorant. And all these people at Kershaw County, and I bet it's all around your county council and all your little mayors and all these little stupid ass parasites, political parasites that are trying to run the world. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Martin Luther King Jr.